I'm so glad you're back here again for another video. Thank you so much for clicking on and being part of the community. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Welcome back to Princess Core. Today's video is a question and answer while I repot my houseplant. My houseplant has been begging to be repotted. It is dying and I don't want to see it die on my account. I'm not a houseplant killer, okay? It really gives my place a really nice ambience, so I really have been feeling so bad that I've been just neglecting it. Honestly, I feel like I've been playing a little Russian roulette with it, seeing how long it can last without any attention. I sort of use it as a metaphor for me. I'm just like, this houseplant is living and existing, dying, but still growing and thriving and still alive. There's hope for it because I might eventually one day repot it, and here I am repotting it. So, you know, shout out to the houseplant for staying alive through all of that. Shout out to me for still being here, and shout out to you for still being here and sticking through all of the challenges that life has thrown at you. One day, just like today, you and I will be placed in our own pot where we can flourish and grow regardless of all the things we've been through. That day is coming. We will thrive, okay? So wait on it. Hang in there. Don't give up. I asked a couple questions on my social media for people to get to know me, questions about how I'm being perceived. I had a conversation with a friend of mine and I realized I have no idea how people perceive me. So I asked on my social media for people to ask questions about how I'm perceived, what they think my personal brand is. Today, I will be answering some of those questions and additional questions that they were probably too shy to ask. But I'm gonna tell y'all anyway because that is what we're here for. Repot my houseplant with me while I answer all the questions that you guys had on my social media, plus more information and spill some tea about all the interesting things that have happened to me since I posted my last vlog. And if you haven't seen it, please go watch it right now. If you haven't seen the vlog, I'm actually so serious. What are you doing here? Click off this video, go watch the vlog, and come back and see all the things that have happened after that vlog. Do things in order. Come on. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. You can't really react like that to every single thing because you're just going to be stressing out your nervous systems. You are stressing out your nervous systems when you react to every little thing. I know it's hard. Okay, January has had me acting all sorts of out of character because of the kind of people that I chose to share my energy with. But all that is done. It's still kind of hard to believe that I just filmed or thought I was filming the whole process of me repotting my plant. From the ugly pot to the beautiful pot. The process was crazy, y'all. The roots were so big and attached to the pot. The soil got everywhere. I had to turn over the pot because I put too much soil and then put just a little tiny bit. It was a lot and I got no footage. No footage. But let me answer questions and get ahead with this video. It is so cold in Canada right now. I know the girlies are going to be staying in and I'm here for that. Snuggle, cuddle, and cozy up inside and stay away from the bad vibes outside. It's not always bad vibes outside though, but I just know the girlies are gonna be inside this winter. This winter is not playing with nobody. I'm just kidding, it's whatever. If you ever feel like you have to act out of character because of anything or anybody, you need to reevaluate how much energy you're actually putting into that thing and whether it's worth it. Because your energy is your highest currency. You have to make sure that the exchange is always in your favor. I'm not letting nothing and nobody make me act out of character anymore. Okay, none of that. I need to be who I am and who God has called me to be and just who I'm working towards being without all that negative influence. I know you guys have been waiting. It's time to answer the questions that you guys had for me. Let's get into it. Post that content. Just post it. In my last vlog, I said I didn't have a tripod, but I wasn't going to let it stop me. And guess what? I got a tripod. Someone texted me and said, "Hey girl, do you want my tripod I'm not using?" I said, "Yes, of course." And then my sister sent me money because she watched my vlog and she saw that I needed money. So post that content. That's the tea and that's what's up. The first question is as dumb as the person who asked it. If pink wasn't a color, what would your favorite be? Is that even a sentence? Moving on. What is your biggest lesson of 2023? My biggest lesson of 2023 is definitely what my upcoming series is going to be about. Learning not to doubt myself, doubt my intuition, and learning to take my own advice. Because too often, we have all the details about our situation. So why aren't we using all of the information that we have and taking our own advice and being who we want to be instead of trying to be what we want to be perceived as, you know? So my biggest lesson of 2023 is definitely trusting my intuition, just being confident I'm not my thoughts. And life is honestly what you make of it. Deep, not that deep. It's all up to you. So take your own advice. Yeah, I don't think eating this popcorn is a good idea because it's so good. Can't focus. The next question is, what do you do for a living? You are literally gorgeous. Stop. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm not gorgeous, you are. What do I do for a living? Last month, I would have said I was unemployed, but now I'm choosing to change the narrative and own the narrative and say I am a full-time creative, a student, and I work part-time as a brand ambassador. Not the social media kind, but the event coordinator kind. I recently got a part-time gig. That is the type of job that I'm comfortable doing in the meantime. I'm glad that I have that lined up. Thank you to all of my friends and contacts who have been helping me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. How do you balance your personal life and social media? This one can get tricky sometimes because I like to be mysterious, but at the end of the day, you have to promote yourself aggressively if you are what is termed a micro influencer or upcoming influencer. I honestly don't think I'm an influencer at all. I just see myself as a creative and somebody who's using social media as a tool, and I stand by that. I have a whole video about why I don't follow everyone back and why they shouldn't be offended. I think that's going to be really interesting. So definitely stick around if you want to see that. But back to the question about balancing social media and my personal life. Honestly, just like any other creator, it's curated. My feed is curated. I will say not completely though. I do try to be as authentic as possible so that nobody is ever misled by my brand or anything like that. I never want people to get the wrong perception of me, but I think they do anyway because I've often been told I come off as condescending, stuck up, or just other negative things when it's really that I would rather not even be a part of certain conversations at all. And I feel like that should be okay. You know, it is what it is. You can't control what everyone thinks. I try to separate my personal life from social media by not oversharing. And oversharing to me is not posting 3 times a day. Oversharing to me does not mean posting once a day or once a week or once a month. No, I will still post 3 times a day because I'm trying to initiate growth to my channel, my social media, and my community. So that's not what oversharing means to me. And a lot of people get that twisted because you post a lot. They think that you're posting everything. No, I'm posting a whole lot of what I think will attract the right kind of growth. Even though I do post a lot, I don't think that I overshare, and that is how I keep my social media and my private life separate. In relationships, if I'm happy, I'll share, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna come and ask social media for their opinion. I really just use social media as a tool, and sometimes it's an outlet, so I will post some like really personal memes, but at the end of the day, these are just words that people posted on the internet. They don't mean much unless you really want it to. Reminding myself that social media is an outlet and a tool, but at the same time, the people on there are not your friends. Social media is a scary place. As much as you want to build a family and community online, you have to remember that you are still a real person and social media is not a real place. The lines that shouldn't be crossed with social media and oversharing are really personal to everyone. I've had my phase where I would share certain things, and now that I'm older, I have no need to use social media as an outlet for those particular kinds of emotions. So we learn, we grow, we thrive. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning and navigating. It's just about putting in 1% more of effort every single day, or 5 if you have it, or 100 if you have it, but put in something so that you can get a return on your time, on your interest, on your hustle. My most entertaining moment of 2023. Oh my god, this is a fun one because I went to so many events in 2023. I will not be doing that in 2024, not because the events aren't good, but because my goals have changed, and so my priorities and actions have to change accordingly. Otherwise, I'm just being delusional. We don't do that over here. We problem solve. It's real life. So much happened in 2023. If I'm being sarcastic, the most entertaining moment was when I went through someone's phone who I trusted so much and got a huge slap in the face. I have to say bye bye yo, bye bye yo, to the love of my life, my ayo. But if we're not being sarcastic, my most entertaining moment was, I want to say, Everyday People. I'm not going to do a whole story time about what happened at Everyday People Toronto, but I think it was just a really funny adventure. Everyday People is a party that tours all around the world. They were in Toronto in the summer. We had a good time. Everyday People is not like everyday parties, you know. All of my solo dates were so fun. Okay, I had a couple solo dates in 2023 and they were really fun, partly because I didn't have to spend my own money. That was fun. It's always very fun when you're not spending your own money. I can say a lot of my most entertaining moments were had when I wasn't spending my own money. I like ballers, you know? So, yeah.
Thief, did you bring me from Costa Rica? I'm Rob.
My worst moment of 2023, obviously, I don't want to talk about it, but it was when my relationship ended and the way it ended. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I learned a lot from it, and my perspective on it was that that was like the worst moment. But my perspective has changed because sometimes God is not saying no. He's just saying not with them around. I do really think life is happening for me and not to me, and that every single thing is a blessing. And so now I don't think it's the worst moment anymore. I just choose not to see things through a negative lens because I have that power and I can use it. And you should too. What would I change? I'm assuming this person is asking, like, what would I change if I could do 2023 over again? Honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. Now, that's not 100% true if you were actually to take me and put me back at the start of next year. Of course, I would do things differently with the knowledge I have now. But in the spirit of just accepting life as it goes, I wouldn't change a thing because now I know things I didn't know before. I have more clarity on what it is that I want, much more than I did last year. I have more knowledge about my capacity for emotions, my capacity for people. 2023 has taught me a lot about myself and has also taught me that there's so much more I need to learn. So what would I change? I wouldn't change anything because everything happens according to God's plan, but what would I do differently? Now, if there are things I would do differently in 2024, they would be protecting my energy. I can't stress that enough. You gotta protect your energy, you gotta protect your currency. There's energy vampires out here. They'll just tell you to be around. They wanna take your insights, they wanna take your support. They want to use you as an emotional dumpster and give nothing back, not even the bare minimum respect. Okay, you deserve more than to be around people who make you question your worth and who make you question your sanity, because you know that the way they're behaving is not normal. And yet, they're trying to normalize it. No more of that in 2024. I don't want to say I would reflect more, because I did reflect a lot actually throughout the year, but I feel like I allowed so many other things to influence my self-reflection. In 2024, I'm going to really give myself the space and the grace to fully reflect, and reflect without the influence of external forces. Reflect on who I am, what I want, and why I want what I want, and what I'm willing to sacrifice to get what I want. At the end of the day, you can set goals, you can be ambitious, but life comes with sacrifice. Whatever it is that you have to sacrifice, whether it's time, whether it's fun, whether it's money, you have to take that into consideration, not be sad about the sacrifice, because it's literally like planting a seed. You could say that you made a sacrifice by planting the seed instead of selling it. Because of that sacrifice, once the tree sprouts, you are even more successful than you were before. How do I deal with things that are not within my control? I pray, and I can't stress this enough. Even when I feel so overwhelmed that I'm like starting to really feel anxious, I just remember that I'm not alone. I'm not doing this alone. There's literally a God that loves me and is with me throughout everything that I do. There's a God that goes before me. I don't need to be afraid. I pray. Even when I feel some fear or some negative emotion, I pray and I tell the Holy Spirit to comfort me. And he does, because God is not a man that lies. He answers prayers. What else do I do when something is out of my control? I honestly don't think I have a really good like coping mechanism with this one. If somebody is around me, you better not be the cause of this thing that is now out of my control. I like to be in controlled environments, actually. I like being spontaneous, but spontaneous with a plan. Okay, not spontaneous with a plan, but just spontaneous with an element of trust. There's people that you cannot be spontaneous with because you don't trust them. They'll just go and carry you to where you don't know. But there's people that you trust enough to be spontaneous with. So that's the kind of spontaneous stuff that I like. I'm not going to be spontaneous unless I trust you. And if I do trust you and we end up in a situation where I'm wondering why the hell I'm here, that's never happening again. Ultimately, I don't think I have a good coping mechanism when things are out of my control. I ignore it, and if I cannot ignore it, it sucks. This is a very interesting question. I think this is something that I definitely need to work on, because a lot of things in life actually end up being beyond our control. I gotta let go and let God. And usually I would have like allowed myself to get riled up before I'm like, okay, let me let go and let God. So this question actually just reminded me to let go and let God first, and then see what else is available for me to do. What about you guys though? What do you do when something is out of your control? How do you handle that? That's so much stress for anyone to be under. What are some of your coping mechanisms? Maybe we can help each other out. I didn't want this video to run too long, so if there are other questions that you guys have, definitely let me know in the comments. I love these chit chats because it's really just a time of reflection and connection, and just being vulnerable with you guys and being authentic, knowing that I am building and growing a community of women who support each other, love God, love fashion, and love this lifestyle. I hope you found those questions as interesting as I did. I really love those. Thank you guys so much for sending in those questions. Thank you for the engagement. I appreciate it. When we get out of the trenches, trust me, I'm not gonna leave you guys behind. Thanks for watching Princess Core, and I will see you in my next video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything.
And who am I? That's one secret I'll never tell. The only one. XOXO Gossip Girl.